It started with a scream, then chairs clattering, students running, and Charlie Kirk clutching his neck as he fell backwards under a white event tent. Within minutes, shaky phone footage of the chaos was everywhere. The sound of one shot replayed millions of times. Utah's governor called it a political assassination. But this story isn't just about a shooter on a rooftop. It's about the country that made it possible. Who really killed Charlie Kirk? To understand that question, you have to know the man. Although you may only recognize him for arguing with students online, Kirk founded Turning Point USA at age 18, transforming it into a conservative powerhouse with thousands of campus chapters and blockbuster conferences. He wasn't just another right-wing activist. He was an entrepreneur of outrage, mastering the viral clip, the college quad confrontation, the culture war podcast. Donald Trump called him one of the true rock stars of this movement. His fans saw him as the rare young voice who made conservatism cool. His critics saw him as a professional agitator trafficking in fear and bigotry. And he relished both roles, the divisive positions. Charlie Kirk's words made him famous, and they also made him a target. On Ukraine, he was relentless. He called President Vladimir Zelensky a puppet of the CIA who marched his own people into a needless slaughter. He mocked US military aid, saying most Americans couldn't even find Ukraine on a map. He argued Washington should focus on cartels and China's fentanyl crisis, not Russia. On Palestine, his rhetoric was just as sharp. He framed the Israel-Palestine situation as a civilizational battle and staunchly aligned himself with Israel. These positions won him applause in conservative circles and fury everywhere else. They also symbolize the way that Kirk played politics: stark, uncompromising, and built for viral outrage. The forces that lined up. So let's zoom out. Who killed Charlie Kirk in the broader sense? Polarization. America is fractured. Scholars call it calcification, the sense that every election, every debate is existential, and losing it isn't just losing, it's survival at stake. The rhetoric on both sides has hardened into absolutes. The other side isn't just wrong, they're evil. Utah's governor, Spencer Cox, said it plainly after the shooting: "Our nation is broken." He compared Kirk's death to other recent attacks: the assassination of a Minnesota state lawmaker and her husband, the attempted assassinations of Donald Trump, a grim roll call of how political differences are now being settled with bullets instead of ballots. In that environment, violence doesn't feel unthinkable to everyone. It feels inevitable to someone. The attention economy. Kirk was both a creature of this age and one of its architects. His entire career was built on provocation. The viral prove me wrong tables, the campus shoutdowns, the podcasts that doubled as monologues and brawls. Platforms rewarded it. Clips of Charlie Kirk sparring with college students racked up millions of views, fueling his podcast, The Charlie Kirk Show, where his audiences swelled to more than 5 million followers on X alone. But the same system that gave him influence also painted a bullseye on his back. Outrage spreads faster than nuance, and Charlie Kirk understood that. He thrived by leaning into controversy, from mocking gender identity debates to accusing Zelensky of being a puppet. Every single provocation won him fans and made him enemies. In the attention economy, anger is profitable, but the more anger he drew, the more dangerous his position became. Security gaps. The setting mattered. Charlie's event wasn't in a sealed auditorium, but under an outdoor tent surrounded by tall buildings. There were just 6 officers for an estimated 3,000 attendees. Former Congressman Jason Chaffetz, who was there, described what happened.
So in that shot, I was standing to off to the right. I wasn't right next to him. Like I said, I was up on the balcony. It seemed like it was a close shot.
Officials later confirmed that the fatal round likely came from an elevated position, a rooftop or a window up to 200 yards or so away. In hindsight, the venue was perfect for a debate and perfect for an assassin. Guns. This is the unavoidable factor. A single bullet silenced a man who had built his life on speaking. In a heavily armed society, political disagreements are never just words. They're always one breath away from becoming lethal. Charlie himself was a passionate defender of the Second Amendment.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
That irony will hang heavy over this tragedy. But the bigger truth is arithmetic. More guns in circulation means more chances for violence to escalate, more debates that can end in blood. Conspiracy culture. Charlie didn't just operate in the world of conspiratorial politics, he amplified it. He called the 2024 election a spiritual battle. He framed immigrants as a threat to Western civilization. He declared Zelensky a puppet. To his supporters, he was telling hard truths that others were afraid to say. To critics, he was trafficking paranoia and hatred. The danger is that this style of rhetoric fuels what scholars call stochastic terrorism. Words that don't directly command violence, but increase the statistical likelihood someone, somewhere will act. For a small number of, marginally unstable individuals, silencing of Kirk doesn't feel like murder, it feels like a mission. The man behind the headlines. And yet, Charlie wasn't only a provocateur. Behind the viral clips was a father of two, a husband, a man his friends described as funny and loyal. Even an editorial critical of his vibes reminded readers, he has a family. He has 2 kids and a wife who love him dearly. This duality explains the reaction. Some mourn sincerely, others glow online. Both responses prove the same point. America is so divided that even a death in broad daylight can't unify. Was his death inevitable? Not inevitable, but foreseeable. Political scientists warn that assassinations are most common in polarized societies where debate feels impossible. That's the America Kirk operated in, and what he helped create. From the June killing of a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband to 2 attempts on Trump's life, violence is no longer shocking. It's becoming normalized. Kirk's shooting wasn't an isolated event, it was another step in a grim march. A culture where anger is entertainment, algorithms reward outrage, and the line between argument and just straight up attack has blurred. Charlie Kirk died doing what he loved, arguing in public, daring opponents to change his mind. He believed in debates, I think, but also in spectacle. In the end, debate gave way to silence. So who really killed Charlie Kirk? Not just a person with a gun. It was a broken system of polarization, platforms that prize rage bait, and society armed for war. That should scare everybody, because when arguments end with bullets, the real victim is never going to be just one man. It's the idea that democracy can survive without violence. If you found this little breakdown valuable, make sure you hit subscribe. We cover the stories that the headlines might rush past, the power structures, the forces behind the chaos, all the drama, and the evil rich people. We do 5 videos a week for you, so hit that button. We can hang out every day. It'll be really fun. Bye.